Okay. Lecture number 13, administering security. So in this lecture, we are going to discuss what is security administration, what is security planning, security policy, security requirements, OCRT, risk analysis, and characteristics of good security policy. In computer security A, okay, we discussed a lecture. This is about, I think, lecture number 10, okay, about the human resource security. So there we discussed, okay, some of the concepts like this. What is a security policy? We discussed. Okay, what are the topics to be inserted in a security policy document? Okay, we discussed. Then we discussed about the CERT, okay, Oman CERT, OCRT. So it is related. Okay, it is almost some 50 to 60%. Okay, this lecture and lecture number 10 in computer security A. So it is going to be same. Now, I'm going to start what is a security administration. Security administration means it is going to deal with 4 different areas. Okay, 4 different areas. So what are the 4 different areas means? You can see the first is going to be the planning. Second one is the risk analysis. Then the third one is the policy. Then the fourth area is going to be the physical control. Okay, so there are 4 major areas, or we can say 4 related areas. Okay, planning, risk analysis, policy, and physical control. Okay, so these are the 4 different areas. Now, what is planning? So planning means preparation. Okay, preparation. That means you have to prepare well for your, okay, suppose I need a proper security in my network. So what I have to do means I have to prepare myself, okay, in a very clear way so that I can plan, okay, I can plan for the future. So implement the needs of the security needs for today and tomorrow. So what exactly you need today and what exactly you need tomorrow. So this is you are going to plan. Okay, that is called the planning. Risk analysis. This is going to be the second area. So what is risk analysis means? It's a big topic actually. Risk analysis is a separate topic. So what does that means? You have to identify what are the various risks available in your organization, and you have to find, okay, you have to find why this risk is available. Okay, it means because of what vulnerability the risk is coming, and also there are so many techniques available. You can give some marks, some weights, okay, some weightages you can give for the risk, and you categorize the risk. This risk is here not a important risk. So this risk is an important risk. Okay, that means high risk, low risk, medium risk. So you can divide the risk like that. Okay, so that is called the risk analysis. Risk analysis is a course. It's a separate course. Then policy. We already discussed about the security policy. So this is going to be a document or a statement. We can say it is a statement, a formal statement, okay, which is going to explain about the security need of your organization. Okay, that is a policy. Then physical control. So physical control means this is related with the computing environment have an impact on the security. That means related to the physical security, controlling and physical security. So physical security means like locking a room, okay, not allowing anyone to enter, okay, installing some cameras, video cameras. So these are all related with the physical control. So security administration, it is going to deal with 4 different areas. Okay, there are 4 different areas available. The first area is going to be planning. The second one is a risk analysis. Third one is a policy. And then the fourth one is the physical control. Okay, so these are the 4 important aspects of security administration. Then the next one is, okay, plan. We are taking, okay, plan. So a security plan, you need a plan. Okay, so what is a plan means? This is going to be a document that is describing how an organization will address all the security needs. So it's going to be a proper document. In the proper document, everything will be written. How, okay, an organization is going to, okay, how the organization is going to achieve, okay, the security needs. So the plan is subject to a periodic review. That means you cannot have a same plan for very long. Okay, frequently the plan must be changed. There should be some revision in the plan. Then, both an official record of current security practices and a blueprint of orderly change to improve the practice. So the official record, that means the plan what you are following now, and the blueprint of the changes. What are the improvement? Okay, this is my plan one. After that, I changed my plan like this, my security policy planning, security planning. Then I change. This is the third revision. This is the fourth revision. So you have to maintain a proper document. Okay, a proper document should be maintained for your security plan. Then, contents of your security plan. If you take a security plan, what are the things should be included? Okay, so what are the things you have to include in a security plan means the first thing is going to be the policy. Second one is the current state. Third one is the requirements, recommended controls, then accountability, timetable, then maintenance. So these are the things it should be included in a security plan. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are 7 different topics they are giving here. Okay, this particular lecture is going to be a theoretical lecture. Okay, we don't have anything like concepts related here. Now, so in your security plan, you need the policy. So what is the policy means? Okay, generally the goals. So goals of your computer security effort and what you are trying to protect. Okay, what is your goal? It should be available inside the policy. Current state. Current state means the status of the security at the time of the plan. So when you are starting, whenever you start, what is the status? Then the next one is recommending the ways to meet the security goals. In order to achieve the security goals, so what you are recommending or what you need. Okay, what you need, that is going to be the requirements. Then finally, recommended controls. Recommended controls means, okay, the techniques or the technologies, or we can say the tools. Okay, so mapping the controls means the security mechanisms to the vulnerabilities identified. So you have to map. Map means you have to find the suitable technologies to close your vulnerabilities or to overcome your vulnerabilities. Okay, so recommended controls, it is nothing, the techniques or the technologies you are going to use. Okay, encryption, firewall, intrusion detection system. So these are all going to be the controls. Then the next one, accountability. Accountability means who is responsible for what. Okay, we have to clearly mention in our security plan. Okay, so we have some subjects. Okay, subject X, Y, Z. So what is the responsibility of X? What is the responsibility of Y? What is the responsibility of Z? So everybody's responsibilities. Who is responsible for each and every security activity? This is going to be the accountability. Then timetable. So timetable means there should be a proper schedule. Okay, when you are going to do what? Okay, a proper schedule. Okay, a proper timetable you have to maintain. Then maintenance. Periodically you have to update your security plan. So your security plan must have policy. It must have a current state. It must have the requirements, recommended controls, accountability, timetable, and maintenance. So these are all the contents of your security plan. Now, let me go to the second. The second one is the security policy. So about the security policy, we already discussed about so many things in computer security A course. A security policy is a legal statement, or it is a formal set of statements which is going to explain your security needs. Okay, there are so many different topics will be included. There are plenty of topics included in a security policy documents, starting from the objectives, okay, to there are plenty of things, okay, you can include about the hardware, software, okay, there are plenty of topics you can include in a security policy document. Okay, so about security policy document, I'm going to talk now. So what is a security policy document means? This is a high level statement of purpose and intent. Okay, in computer security you studied, okay, a formal set of statements like that. There is a proper definition there. So here they're telling it is a high level statement of purpose and your intent. Three important questions. Answer the three essential questions. What are they? Now you can see. The first one is, who should be allowed to access? Okay, who are allowed to access your resources? This is number one. Then, to what system and organization resource should be accessed? What are the things, okay, should be accessed to allow? Then, what types of access? Okay, type of access should be for each user. So this is all related with like access control. So what are all the subjects available in your system? What are the objects available? And what are the different rights? Okay, the different rights that you are giving. So this should be clearly mentioned in your security policy document. And also, the security policy document should have the organization security goals. Then, where the responsibility for the security lies. Where, okay, who is the responsibility? Then the organization's committee to the security, commitment, the organization's commitment to the security. So this means, you see, define whether the reliable service is higher priority than preventing the infiltration. That means you have to mention the goals, the proper goals you have to mention. Then responsibility means like users. Okay, who are all the users? Okay, any group, security groups available. So talking about this is going to be the responsibility. Then the next one is organization's commitment to the security. Okay, which group is going to do what? Okay, what is the hierarchy structure? If any problem available, suppose if any security incidents took place, how to inform this? So these are all going to be the, okay, organization's commitment to the security. So the second aspect is security policy here. Now, the third one is going to be the security assessment, or we can say it is the risk assessment. Okay, risk assessment. So risk assessment, as I already told, it's a very big topic actually. Okay, so it's a course actually. Risk analysis is a course. So what you will do means, okay, you can work in any organization, you can work as a risk analyst. So what is the job? What is the job of a risk analyst means? So the risk analyst is going to find what are all the vulnerabilities available in a network, in their own network. Okay, first they have to identify the vulnerabilities. Then for that particular vulnerability, what is the risk available? So if I have this vulnerability, what will be the risk for that? There, they will find the list. They will take the list of risk. Risk number 1, risk number 2, risk number 3, 4. Okay, they will make a very big list. There, for every risk, they will do some analysis and they will find this risk is, okay, in which level. It is a low level risk, medium risk, or high level risk. Okay, they will make a map like that. Okay, for every risk, they will create a table. So I have this risk. So this is going to be the low level risk. This risk is a high risk. So they will make a table of this. This is called risk analysis. There are different methods available, plenty of approaches available for risk analysis. Okay, so we are just going to see in one slide. What is that? Okay, you can see, able to plan for security. An organization must understand the vulnerabilities to which they may expose. So first, you must know what are your vulnerabilities. Then, for every vulnerability, we are going to perform a risk analysis will be done. Okay, a risk analysis will be done. It's a very interesting area actually. Previously, we had a lecture, okay, for in computer security, we had a lecture for this risk analysis, but now they removed that. Okay, it's a very big area. Now, so what is risk analysis? What is a risk analysis means? It is investigation. We have to investigate our own system, our own network, and we have to find what are all the risks available. And for every risk, we are going to assign some mark, some grades. Okay, like low level, medium level, high level. Okay, like that, we are going to give the mark. So what are the risks available in the high level? Immediately you have to solve it. If it is in the low level, okay, you can give some time for that. Okay, so this is called the risk analysis. Then the next one, define the limits of the responsibility for the security. So what is the limit means? So this also we already discussed. Okay, there should be, you should not give complete permission to anyone. Okay, least privileges you have to give. So this is what already we have talked about. Now you can see which asset ought to be protected. So if you take an organization, in an organization there will be a lot of assets. So which assets ought to be protected? You have to make sure. There, who is responsible for protecting them? There, who is excluded from the responsibility? Who is not responsible for that? And what is going to be the boundaries? The boundaries of the responsibilities means from where to where. Okay, so I will be having some responsibility means I'm not going to take everything. So there is a limit for that. So from X to Y. So there will be a limit, okay, for my responsibilities. So this is regarding the assessment of the current security status. Then, next one is security requirements. Okay, so what is the security requirements? This is functional or performance demands. Okay, it could be a functional or it could be a performance demands placed on the secure system to ensure the desired level of security. So whatever the security level you need, so for that you need a functional or a performance demand that are going to be placed on the system to ensure the desired level of security. Okay, generally, so if you take an organization, okay, organizational business needs, sometimes including the compliance with mandates imposed for the outside, such as the government standards. So what does this mean? Sometimes your security requirements will be depend upon the government, okay, government standards. You have to follow certain standards, okay, while defining your security requirements. You cannot fix your own. Okay, you cannot fix your own requirements. So you have to depend on some standards or the government policies. You have to depend and you have to fix your security requirements. Then, requirements should address all the aspects of security. That means the main thing is this is CIA. So whatever your security you are defining, it should address all the three things. It should address all the three aspects. Okay, confidential, integrity, and availability. All the three things should be, okay, it should be addressed. You have given importance to these three things. Okay, this is security. What is security means? If you have confidentiality, integrity, and availability, you are 100% secure. So whatever we are doing, whatever we studied from lecture number 1 to lecture number 12, it is focusing on, okay, what is that means? In order to have CIA, we are having, okay, all the different techniques. So security requirements, you have to address all the aspects, including CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Then, so the next topic is going to be characteristics of a good security requirements. So if you take a good security requirements, what are all the characteristics? Okay, so if you see the characteristics, the first one is going to be the correctness. Second one is the consistency. Third one is the completeness, realism, need, verifiability, traceability. Okay, so these are the words. So I think you can understand from the words itself, it is very clear. Okay, you don't need to memorize each and everything. So the characteristics of good security requirements, the first one is correctness. That means all your requirements, what you need is understandable or not. Or they stated without any error. Without any error, you have to write your requirements. Okay, so wherever your requirements should be very clear, it should be very clear, it should be correct, and then it should be stated. Okay, you have to state, you have to write it without any errors. Then, consistency. There should not be any conflict or ambiguity in your requirements. Okay, sometimes you are telling this is my requirements. Sometimes you are changing. Okay, this is my requirements. Okay, this is not acceptable. So there should not be any conflict or there should not be any ambiguity in your requirements. Then completeness. Your requirements should be, okay, or all possible situations addressed by your requirements. So all the possible situations, whatever it is, it should be addressed by your requirements. Your requirements should cover everything. Okay, it should cover everything. Your requirements should cover everything. Then realism, it should be realistic. Okay, it should be a real one. So it is possible to implement what the requirements is mandate. Mandate means which is necessary. So it should be realistic. Okay, it should be more practical. Okay, you should not write any requirements which is not practical, which is totally impractical. Okay, you should not write. So your security requirements should be more practical, more realistic. Then the next one is the need. So don't write unnecessary things in your security requirements. Don't expect unnecessary things. Only the necessary things you have to require. Okay, you must include in the security requirements. Then verifiable. So your requirements should be verifiable. That means test can be written to demonstrate. Okay, you have to demonstrate. Okay, you have to explain your requirements whenever you need. And also, can the system or the functionality be measured in some way that is assessed to the degree in which the requirements are met? So your requirements should be measured in some way that will assess the degree of which the requirements are met. So your requirement should be verifiable. Okay, that is going to be checking. Okay, you are telling something. This is my requirement, and you have to verify whether your requirements are met. Okay, or completed or not, or fulfilled or not. Okay, you should not write something which is like imaginable. I'm writing something, my requirements, but I'm not able to verify it. Okay, I'm not able to verify it means no chance. So what you have to do, all your requirements should be verifiable. You have to verify whether your requirement is met, whether it is achieved or not. Then traceability. Traceability and verifiability, it is almost related. So what is verifiable means, this is, you can say, this should be trace. Okay, sorry, traceability. So this should be traced. Okay, the requirement to be traceable by the functions and the data related to it, so that the changes in the requirements can lead to the easy re-evaluation. So tracing should be possible. Your requirement should be verifiable, and your requirement should be needed. Okay, only whatever it is essential you have to write. Okay, so there are 7. Okay, there are 7 different requirements. Okay, that means the characteristics of a good security requirements. Okay, I'm telling I need this. If I tell I need, you must, okay, it should be correct, it should be consistent, it should be complete, it should be realistic, it should be neat, it should be verifiable, and it should be traceable. Okay, so these are the 6 requirements of a good security requirements. So, okay, 6 characteristics. Now, responsibility of implementation. So who is the responsibility? Okay, responsibility. Now you can see. So what is the responsibility means? Okay, it is a clear plan, a section of the security plan. In your security plan, okay, this should be a part. That means the people means subjects. So subjects, or we can say it is a role. Okay, those who are responsible for implementing your security requirements. So if you take an organization, there will be many people, IT security manager, IT security analyst, there will be a lot of people will be available. So for everyone, what is the role? What is the role in implementing the security requirements? So it should be clearly written. Okay, it should be clearly written. That is called the responsibility for implementation. Okay, now common roles. So what are the different roles available? Means, okay, you can say the project leaders, project managers. Okay, this is not limited. This is not limited. You can have any number of roles. Okay, IT security analyst. Okay, ethical hackers. So there will be many people. Okay, a group of people will be available. So these people, everybody will have a different role. Okay, so that role should be very clear, and you have to define what is their responsibility and how they are going to achieve the security requirements. So this should be included. So this is called the responsibility for implementation. So generally, these managers means they will supervise. Supervise means they will monitor. Okay, they will monitor. Okay, generally the managers will be in the top level. So under the managers, there will be a lot of other people working. So the nature of the job of managers will be monitoring. They will monitor each and every individual roles. Okay, they will monitor. Okay, so this is going to be the responsibility for implementation. Now, next one is timetable. So timetable and plan maintenance. So what is timetable and plan maintenance means? There should be a proper schedule. We already explained this in the previous, in the beginning of this lecture. A security plan cannot be implemented instantly. So you cannot implement any security plan. So what you need means you need a proper schedule or you need a proper timetable. Okay, so the timetable should be properly implemented. Okay, so I'm going to do this in month 1, second month, third month, fourth month. Who is responsible? Okay, if you're doing a project, okay, this semester you might have understand this project planning. So in project planning, okay, you have to find, okay, you have to identify what are the different activities. Okay, what is the duration? Then what is the dependency? So dependency means who is the, okay, after which task, the dependency task. Then you have to write who is responsible for that. So a proper timetable or a proper schedule should be available. So then only you can complete, okay, or you can implement your security requirements. So if you don't have a proper planning, it is going to be a very difficult one. Now, so the plan must be extensible. So extensible means, suppose if you are not able to complete it on time, if you are not able to implement your security requirements on time, it should be extensible. You have to extend it. Okay, you have to extend. So the plan must include the procedures for changing and the growth. The plan must include the schedule for the periodic review. So your plan should have a procedure for change. If there is any change or if there is any growth, and your plan should be scheduled for a periodic review. So it should be properly changed. So what we are trying to say here, so implementing the security requirements, okay, you need a plan. So without proper plan, you cannot do it. So the plan can be extendable. You can extend the plan whenever you need. Okay, you can modify the plan whenever you need. Okay, so this is the point. Okay, here. Now, the next one, inputs for a security plan. Okay, you can see I'm having a security plan. We already told. Okay, this is a security plan. I'm going to create a security plan. So before creating a security plan, I'm going to take the inputs from different places. Okay, first one, your requirements. Security requirements. Then your security policy. Okay, the formal set of document. Then you are having some techniques, security techniques and controls. This is going to be the mechanism. Mechanisms, or we can say it is a tools. Okay, anything. Example, intrusion detection system tools, okay, antivirus software, encryption tool. This is, so I'm taking 3 things: security policy and my own requirements, what I need. Basically, this is going to be based on the CIA, then all the security mechanisms. Okay, the security mechanisms. So all the 3 things, security planning process, I'm going to combine all these things. This is going to be the planning process. So finally, I'm going to take a security plan, a proper plan I'm going to get. Okay, a security plan I'm going to get. Okay, so this is how. So security plan is based on your security requirements, your security policies and constraints. Okay, security policies. Okay, make it a single word. And then your security techniques and controls. What are all the security controls and techniques you are using? So based on these 3 things, you are going to write a plan. Okay, so this is the security plan. Now, the next one is security planning team members. So about this already I told. Okay, the team members, there will be a group of people. So this is going to change. Every organization is not going to have the same roles. Okay, same teams. So it depends upon the organization. Some organizations, they have more, okay, they will be having more members. Some organizations, okay, they will be having less members. Okay, it is going to change from organization to organization. But anyway, we have a list. So security planning team should represent each of the following group. So in your planning, you have to include all these group. Okay, what is that? Computer hardware group, system administrators, system programmers, application programmers, data entry personnel, physical security personnel, representative users. Okay, they are giving some list, a list of, okay, roles they are giving here. So this is not the limit. Okay, this is not the final list. Okay, so for every organization, it is going to change. Computer hardware group, system administrator group, system programmers, application programmers, data entry personnel, physical security personnel, representative users. So all these users must be included. Okay, they have to be included in the security planning team. So in the planning team, all these people should be included. Then only you have to create a proper security plan. Then the next one is assuring the commitment to the security plan. Okay, so now your security plan is ready. Okay, a proper timetable is ready. You already prepared. Okay, completely everything. Okay, you prepared. Now, what is the next stage means? You have to assure the commitment to a security plan. Okay, what does that means? A security plan needs organization commitment. Okay, your organization should be committed. Yes, our plan is ready. So 100% sure we are going to follow this particular plan. Okay, so we are going to follow this. Okay, it is 100% sure. There is no doubt. That is called a commitment. Now, so for this, three group of people must contribute to making their plan a success. So three groups of people, they have to contribute to make the plan a success one. If you want to make your plan success means three group of people. Okay, they want to contribute. What is that? What is the three group of people? Now you see, the first one is going to be the management, the top management. So the top management of your organization. So they have to be committed. So they have to be ready. Okay, they need, okay, to implement the security plan. So they have to be very much committed to the plan. Number one, management. That is the top level management. Then the next one is going to be then those who are affected by the security recommendation must understand what is the plan. Okay, for which, okay, that means this is going to be a moderate. Okay, this is going to be the users. Okay, the users, general users of your system. So they have to be committed. The next one is going to be the planning team. So planning team we already discussed here. Okay, in the previous slide we discussed about the planning team. So now you see the planning team, the users and others, and also the management. These are the three entities. So these three entities should be committed. Then only you can implement your security plan in a successful way. Okay, so security plan can be properly implemented or it can be effectively implemented only if you have these three people, okay, committed for that. One is the planning team, second one is the users and the others, and then third one is going to be the management, the top level management. So this is the assuring the commitment to a security plan. Now, the next one is business continuity plan. Okay, this is another big area. Okay, we are going to study just in one slide. Okay, we are going to discuss about this business continuity plan. So what is a business continuity plan? Means, suppose if there is any issue, any problem, okay, to your organization, any particular attack. Okay, it could be a man-made attack or it could be a natural attack. Okay, for example, any natural calamities. Natural calamities means like earthquake, flood. Okay, so there is this is also a attack, but this is a natural attack. Man-made attack means any security incident. Okay, any security incident. Okay, for example, okay, all your data lost, your network connectivity is lost. Okay, somebody has taken your data. So this types of things. Suppose if any attack happens, after that particular incident, how to run the business or how to start the business. Okay, how to continue the business. Okay, a big organization is available. Okay, for colleges, it's not a big problem. Okay, we are not doing any business. But for the corporates or for the big organizations, they are making money. Every second they are making money. Suppose if any problem happens to the network, to the data, how they are going to continue their business. Okay, that is called the business continuity plan. Okay, there should be a proper BCP, business continuity plan, even after any incident happened. Now you can see a business continuity plan. It is a document. Okay, this document shows how a business will continue. Okay, will continue to function during or after a computer security incident. During the computer security incident, or after the computer security incident, how a particular organization is going to run. Okay, how the organization is going to execute. That is going to be business continuity plan. So here we are going to have two different characteristics. What is that means? Catastrophic situation. Catastrophic situation means a deadly situation, a severe situation. Okay, a very severe attack is happened. I could not do anything. I could not do anything. That is going to be a catastrophic situation. So in a catastrophic situation, what you have to do? So in which all the major parts of the computing capability is suddenly unavailable. Okay, you see, nothing is available in your organization. Everything is blocked. Okay, everything is attacked, under attack. So how to continue your business during that particular time? Okay, so that is going to be a catastrophic situation, a very deadly situation. Then the next one is going to be the long duration. So what is long duration means? In which the outage is expected. Okay, so that means there is okay, no, there is nothing available in your organization for a very long. Okay, for example, you take a server. I have a server in my organization. Somebody hacked. Okay, somebody hacked my server. Okay, and I know the server. Okay, I cannot retrieve the server for next 5 days. I cannot retrieve. So what I can do? Okay, what I can do? So this is going to be a long duration. So a long duration plan and also a catastrophic situation. So these two things will be involved. It will be included, okay, in the business continuity plan. Okay, in the business continuity plan. Now, incident response plan. So what is an incident response plan means? If a particular incident is happening, how you can respond to that? Okay, suddenly I'm having, okay, a virus, okay, a virus infected my computer. That is an incident. So how I'm going to respond? Shall I just switch off my computer and go away? Means no. So what I have to do? I have to use a antivirus software. Immediately use the antivirus software and okay, try to find the virus and try to delete it. So this is, so for every incident, what is your response? Okay, see, a security incident response plan. So tells the staff how to deal with the security incident, So business continuity plan, we studied in the previous slide. Okay, this is going to be a goal of incident response, handling the current security incident without directing regarding for the business issues. So business continuity plan means without stopping your business, the business should not be affected. Business should run. Okay, the business should run continuously. That is business, okay, continuity plan. But incident means the small incidents. Okay, for a particular incident, what you have to do? This is not going to affect your business, but this is going to affect your system. So you can see a incident response plan should define what constitutes an incident. What is an incident? Identify who is responsible for taking charge of this situation, and then describe the plan of action, what you have to do. Okay, that is called the plan of action. Business continuity plan is going to be the overall. Okay, the overall your network or your organization is under attack, but the incidence is going to be a small things. Okay, a part of your network, a part of your server, okay, it will be infected or it will be affected, under attack. Okay, so this is going to be the incident response plan. Now the next one is OCRT. Okay, we know what is CERT, Computer Emergency Readiness Team. So in every country, there is a CERT. Okay, the CERT organization is available. In Oman, we have Oman CERT. Okay, Oman CERT. Okay, in computer security, I have shown this the website of OCRT also. So you can just visit Oman National CERT. If you just search like this, you will find a website. So you can go and see there. Okay, what the OCRT is doing. Okay, what they are doing, teacher. So Oman National CERT, they are collecting the incidents, whatever the incidents, security incidents happening in Oman. Okay, you can inform, you can tell this to the OCRT. Okay, you have to inform this to the OCRT. So the OCRT will take action for that. Okay, so this is an organization. Okay, it is launched officially. It is launched in Oman. It is available in Oman. Okay, in all the countries, okay, in India it is called ICRT. Okay, in China it is called CCRT. Okay, so O stands for Oman. Okay, Oman Computer Emergency Readiness Team or Response Team. Okay, two different ways they are telling: readiness team or response team, but computer emergency. Then, to analyze the risk and the security threats that may present in the cyberspace and the communication, okay, this information to the users, internet services, technical information outlets. Okay, what is that means? In Oman, they are collecting all the security incidents available in Oman. They are collecting. Then this security incidents, they will inform to everybody. They will broadcast. Okay, they will inform to all the people. Okay, they will inform this. So it's a very big organization. OCRT is a very big organization. Okay, they are conducting lot of training programs. Okay, they are conducting workshops for the students, and also they are giving some like certifications training for the security related certifications. Okay, sometimes they are giving training for CEH, Certified Ethical Hackers. Then okay, they are giving some online workshops for Catch the Flag, CTF. Okay, Catch the Flag. Okay, that is like a what to say, like a program. You can solve some security related problems. Okay, they will give some problems to you and you have to solve it and you have to find the solution for that. Okay, so security related. So there are so many activities is going on after the class. So please try. Okay, just search Oman National CERT. Okay, the website is available. You can find plenty of information, okay, in that. Then the next one, risk analysis. So already I have explained this to you. So what is a risk analysis means? You have to identify the vulnerabilities. For every vulnerabilities, there will be some set of risk. And for every risk, you have to identify what is the likelihood. Okay, likelihood, and we are going to assess what is the, okay, you can see. Risk analysis, okay, this is going to be a process of identifying the most of the significant risk. You have to identify what are the significant risks available in your organization. So this will be fine, okay, by using the vulnerabilities. So first you need to find the vulnerability. Then you have to find what are the risks available for each vulnerability. So what is a risk? What do you mean by a risk? Risk means a risk is going to be the potential problem. Okay, it is a problem in the computer or in the network. Okay, so this is going to be a severe one, a serious one. Okay, an issue available in a network, a problem available in a network. Okay, that is called a risk. Then, so risk characteristics of risk, you can see every risk will have, okay, it will have an impact. So about this only already I told, impact, low, medium, high. Okay, this is the impact. Then every risk is going to have a likelihood. Likelihood means, okay, that means the occurrence. Occurrence means how frequent it is happening. Okay, how frequent, okay, it is happening. Then degree to which we change the outcome. Okay, how we are going to control, risk control. I will give you a very simple example, you will understand. Okay, you take myself. Okay, I am the asset. Okay, I am the asset. I'm having some value. Okay, let it be X. Now, so I have a risk. What is a risk means? Okay, for example, okay, I have headache. Headache I'm having. Now, I'm going to the doctor. So the doctor is asking, what is the problem? Okay, the doctor is asking, what is the problem? Okay, the doctor is asking, what is the problem? So that means the risk. Now I'm telling headache. Doctor, I'm having headache. So headache is my problem, doctor. Okay. Now the doctor is going to ask the next question. Okay, the doctor is going to ask. Okay. Now likelihood. Likelihood means how long you are having. What is the, okay, the repetition. Okay. That means, do you have this headache daily? Or do you have the headache continuously? Or this headache is coming once in a month? Or the headache is coming once in a year? This is called likelihood. So likelihood means how often, okay, that particular risk is repeated. Okay, now I'm telling, doctor, I'm having a headache continuously. So the likelihood, what is the likelihood means? The likelihood is continuous. Continuously I'm having, okay, this headache. Then the doctor is going to note, okay, continuously you are having. Then the doctor is asking, what is the impact? So impact means, so if you have a headache, how you feel? Is it paining more or it is paining less? Okay, the doctor, I'm telling impact. The impact is heavy. Okay, if I get headache, I cannot manage. I cannot manage, doctor. That is the impact. I have light headache, doctor, but it is continuous. So this is going to be the impact. So impact, okay, the severe pain I'm having and I'm having continuously means the doctor is going to tell this is going to be a serious problem. So based on the impact and based on the likelihood, based on the impact and based on the likelihood, I repeat, likelihood means how often that particular risk is coming. Okay, that means the frequency. Is it coming, okay, frequently, or is it coming very rare? Okay, that is called the likelihood. So what is the impact of that risk? Impact means it is going to be low, medium, high. So based on these two things, actually there is a formula available for that actually, okay, but it is not given. Okay, theoretically we are studying. So based on that formula, okay, you can find what is the risk. Then for every risk, there will be a control. Control means you can take some tablets. Okay, the doctor is advising me, okay, if you have this headache, okay, please kindly, I prescribe, you can take this particular tablet. So that is going to be the control. So I'm going to take that particular tablet, automatically my headache is going to be controlled. So a risk is going to be having all these things. A risk is going to have some impact, a risk is going to have a likelihood, and the risk is going to have the controls. Okay, so this is regarding the risk analysis. Now, so the next one is strategies for dealing with the risk. Okay, there are different strategies available. Okay, plenty of methods available. So we are just going to see only the basic things here. We are not going to study even the different strategies. Okay, so what is a strategy means? To avoid the risk. To avoid the risk, okay, by changing the requirements of your security. Okay, what is the risk I'm having? So the risk I'm having is headache. Now, I have to find why this risk is coming. So why this risk is coming? Suppose if I'm not sleeping properly, if I'm not sleeping for 8 hours, if I sleep only for 1 hour, 2 hours in the night, so automatically I'm getting headache. Okay, automatically I'm getting headache. Now what I have to do? I have to change my requirements. What I have to change? You have to go and sleep for 8 hours. So if I sleep for 8 hours, I'm not going to have headache. So in order to control the risk, you have to change your requirements. Your requirements or your system characteristics you have to change. So if you change, you can avoid that particular risk. Next, transfer the risk by allocating the risk to the other system, people, organization, or asset, or buying the insurance. Okay, we can see like this. Allocating the risk to other system. This is not possible for human being. Okay, I'm having a headache means I cannot transfer my headache to somebody else. But in the computers, it is possible. Okay, in computers, it is going to be possible. How it is possible? So I can transfer this particular risk to another system. I can change it. So to another people or to other organizations, I can move it. Or you can buy the insurance cover any financial loss. Okay, that means you know about the insurance. Okay, even for the car, we are having the insurance. Okay, even for the human being, we have the insurance. So if there is any loss available, automatically we can cover that. We can cover, okay, by using the insurance, you can cover if any accident in the car. So you no need to pay from your pocket. So automatically it will be covered by the insurance company. Okay, so like that. Then assume the risk by accepting it. So first accept the risk, control the risk, okay, so which is available resources, and prepare to deal with the loss, any loss available. So if there is any risk available, you have to accept it, try to control the risk. Suppose if the risk is giving some damage, accept it. Okay, so you must be ready to deal with the risk available in the computers. Then, so the next one is going to be the risk analysis steps. Okay, risk analysis steps. This already we have completed. You can see, you can identify your asset. After identifying the asset, identify the vulnerabilities. So asset means, that means your computers, your system, your servers, anything. Then what is the vulnerability available inside the asset for every asset? Then you have to identify the likelihood. So the likelihood means the repetitions. A particular risk is coming every day, the risk is there, or this risk is going to happen only once in a week. This risk is going to happen once in a month. So this risk will happen once in a year. This is going to be the likelihood. Then, because of this risk, what is expected loss? What you are going to lose? What is the expected annual loss of that particular risk? Then, finally, you have to survey the applicable controls. Find the controls. Controls means the security mechanisms and what is the cost. I'm going to the doctor. So the doctor is giving some tablets to me. So the tablets is the control and it is going to charge me 10 riyal. So I'm having a problem in my network. So this is the problem. Okay, I'm going to buy a software for that. What is the cost of that particular software? Then project annual saving of the cost. So because of that, how much you can save? Okay, security means don't think it is going to be expenses. Okay, it is not expense. You are going to save your data, your network, your business, everything. So because of this control, how much you can save in a year? So this is called a risk analysis, the steps included in the risk analysis. Now, the next one, you can see characteristics of a good security policy document. Okay, so your security policy must be coverage, durability, realism, and usefulness. So what is coverage? Means your security policy must be a comprehensive. It should include everything. It should not leave anything. Okay, your security policy, a good security policy must address everything. So it must either apply or explicitly included any possible situation. It should not exclude anything. Okay, so it should include everything. In computer security, we discussed about this list of topics. What are all the topics should be included in a computer security policy? Okay, in a security policy, what are all the topics to be included? A very big list is available. So your security policy must include everything. Then durability. So what is durability means? A security policy must grow. Okay, so this year I'm using a security policy. Next year, same policy, can I use it? Means no. There should be some changes. There should be some updations. There should be some expansions. Some growth should be available. Okay, that means the security policy documents will be keep on changing. Okay, it will be keep on changing. So it is not going to be like once fixed, I'm going to follow the same thing for next 100 years. No. So it will be keep on changing. The durability is going to be changing. Then realism. Already we discussed about this realism. That means the policy should be realistic. Okay, it should be like practical. Okay, don't anything which is not possible. Impractical things you should not include. Okay, impractical things you should not include. It should be more practical and more realistic, your security policy document. Then usefulness. So what is usefulness means? That means your security policy should not be an incomplete security policy. If the security policy document is incomplete, automatically you cannot implement properly. You cannot implement properly and you cannot get a proper result. So the policy must be written in the language which you can read, you can understand and follow by anyone. So the policy should be very complete. It should be a complete one. It should be understandable. It should be written in the language which can be understandable by everyone. Then everyone must follow the security policy document, and then everyone should implement the security policy document. Okay, so this is going to be the usefulness. So a good security policy document, it should have coverage, it should cover everything. So that it should be a durable, okay, durability, that means keep on doing the changes. Then it should be more realistic, that means more practical, and it should be useful. Okay, useful means it should be complete and it should be easy to understand, easy to follow, okay, easy to read by everyone. Okay, so this is the characteristics of a good security policy. So what we studied in this particular lecture means, okay, what is security administration, security policy, security planning, security requirements, OCRT, okay, computer emergency readiness team. Then we discussed about the risk analysis. Finally, we discussed about the good